Okay, good morning, good mid-afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you happen to be in. I am absolutely thrilled to be able to bring my new friend, XRP Lover, back. And we're going to have a little bit more of a deep dive, finding out more about him and because we just did a 10-minute segment, and you guys, I wanted to make sure that I give everybody the opportunity to be able to hear more. He's experienced in the financial world, and he is as excited about XRP as I am. And it is so great. That is the greatest thing about this experience of starting this channel, is being able to meet new friends like XRP Lover. So what I'd like you to do is kind of give everyone again a little snapshot of your background, and when you looked at Ripple and XRP with your background, what were the things that got you the most excited about where we are?
Sure. So I worked on Wall Street for about 28 years. In capital markets, debt securities, bond markets, and derivatives, as a trader and sales. And, it's funny, when I started in banking, I was a graduate management trainee. And I spent 3 months at what we called an overseas branch, which was a branch that did overseas payments. And so I dealt with the SWIFT system, which I believe is a misnomer. And I would come in every day, and there would be a stack of papers sitting on my desk. And I'd say, what the hell are these? And they'd say, oh, that's the fails report. And I go, so what do you mean? Oh, those are all the payments that didn't get to where we thought they should be. And now we don't know where they are. And there was like computer printouts after printouts after printouts. And it would take 7 to 10 days to figure these things out. And this is ongoing. So today's fails report, there was a bigger one tomorrow, and it's just exponentially. So I knew from 30 years ago that Swift was a disaster. And I'm not trying to say that I thought, oh, I can't wait till something comes along to replace it. But I can tell you, as soon as I saw what Ripple was doing and the XRP token, I fully realized, wow, this is the Swift killer right here. And there's no doubt, Swift really is blockbuster. There's no question. They have, arrogantly, because they've got 11,000 members and they're owned by the banks, let's face it, but they've arrogantly ignored progress, and they continue to do so. And it really is at their own peril. So over the last 2.5 years that I've been involved in crypto, there have definitely been times when I thought, oh my God, Swift's GPI, this is it. They've killed it. The market's over. XRP's dead. Not a chance. Even if they were, they've been given the opportunity to use the greatest digital asset ever created, to quote one of the people that we both watch, DAI, and they won't take it. What more do you need to do? Right? It's crazy. So right now, I see, as we talked about in my little 10-minute segment, the thing that causes me the slight bit of concern is the whole R3 court of settler thing. Because it is in it everywhere. It's in every bank, etc. But they still aren't the gorilla that Ripple is. They still don't have the political and the financial power behind them that Ripple does. Ripple has amazing investors and amazing partnerships. And we were just saying offline, I mean, that's the thing. It's those partnerships that makes all the difference. So it's pretty fantastic. And we also were talking about, which is what makes this thing so awesome, is it's open to everybody. It's open to every person. I was telling you about my electrician friend who bought 450,000 XRP and nearly gave me a heart attack when I'd advised him, if he could ever get to 20,000, that would be a fortune. So, it's fantastic opportunity here. And I honestly feel blessed to have discovered it. I am in the when, not if department of the zero doubt. I really have absolutely no doubt that this is going to, yield what I think it will yield. And so I sleep peacefully every night, regardless of FUD, regardless of the news, regardless of the price, which I must say, I used to check the price like every 7 minutes. Now I'm down to maybe 5 or 6 times a day. Like, what about that? Dude, I hope you're proud of me.
Oh yeah. I have a Fiat leak on my phone on one of the tabs that are open. And all the time I'm like, I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. And finally, last Friday, all of a sudden, we start going up. And I'm like, man, this is amazing. I mean, finally. So one thing that I wanted, since the background that you have, I know that one of my favorite YouTubers, and I know that he's one of yours too, is To the Lifeboat, Sam I Am.
Oh, love him.
Sam is coming out, and I cannot wait for this to come out. I've messaged him on Twitter or tweeted him on Twitter like 5 or 6 times. Sam, when is the next video coming out? When is the next video coming out? So maybe you can help give everyone a little bit of an idea about the derivative market. Can you kind of give everyone sort of now? Here's what Scott knows. All right. What Scott knows as not a financial expert, this is not financial advice. What I understand is it's a house of cards, and it's grown from the people that are selling the derivatives making commissions. It has grown to an asset class between 545 trillion and 1.2 quadrillion dollars. Now, if you can unpack that for everybody and kind of give them an idea of sort of what exactly that means. I'm turning orange with my light.
You are.
Okay, there, that's better. So, sorry about that. If you can kind of unpack that a little bit and give everybody an idea from your perspective, what's going on with the derivatives and what kind of a whole, I've got my Big Lebowski dude t-shirt on. So
the dude abides.
Dude abides. I am not taking myself too seriously. I hope everybody does that too. So if you XRP lover can kind of give everybody a little bit of a snapshot about the derivatives and where you feel like we are in the world economic situation and why we're absolutely going to have to do something to have the great reset.
Oh, totally. So a derivative, everything in the whole financial world is money in and money out. It's cash flows. And if you can slice and dice a cash flow, you can make $1 effectively go to the value of $100 or $1,000, right? By putting instruments on top where you can use leverage and lever up your positions. So what happened previously? We saw in 2008 the whole housing market, collapsing, and you heard about things called CLOs and CDOs, collateralized loan obligations, collateralized debt obligations. These things still exist. That's the shocking thing. Having brought the entire financial world down once, we're doing it again. And basically, what the premise is an idea called over-collateralization. That if you take enough cash flows, right, even if they're all crappy, even if they're all shit, but if you take $1 billion in cash flows from mortgages, say, and you issue a bond that is only worth 100 million, right? Now you've got 10 times more cash flows than the bond that you issued, okay? So in other words, 10 mortgages have to go, south for $1 to be affected. And again, running historical data, which is total baloney in this situation, it shows that is a black swan event. It happened 12 years ago, but it'll never happen again. So people still buy into this. And because of that over collateralization, because you've got more theoretical cash flows than you have of the underlying instrument that you issued, it gets a AAA rating or a AA rating or very high ratings. And then it's bought in by pension funds. So your pension if you have one in the classical market, owns this stuff. That's the scary part. So, the derivatives market should really be confined to trading, professional traders. It's a fantastic market to hedge, and it's a fantastic market to gamble. And that's, effectively what professional traders do. You take risks, but you try to quantify them. Whereas the normal everyday punter hasn't got a clue and isn't supposed to. I don't mean that in a sort of derogatory fashion. You're not educated. You're not seeing this stuff every day. I'm not being arrogant here. It's just how it is. Like, I wouldn't go and try to rewire a house because I don't know anything about electricity. That'd be crazy. But suddenly everybody's a day trader, right? Everybody's an expert. And as we saw with the last round of $1,200 checks, the amount of Robin Hood accounts apparently that got opened were like millions of new accounts opened, and everybody's now punting the market. And it's not going to end well. And here's why. Imagine, Scott, that Visa call you today and they say, Scott, we were looking at your Visa card and we've decided that you're not going to have to pay it back. So next month, instead of getting a statement in, it's going to read 0. What would you do?
Go spend more.
Of course, you would spend like a a crazy man, because you don't have to pay it back. What do you think our government is doing right now? It's the same thing. The government is spending like they're never going to have to pay it back. And maybe they're not. Maybe this whole idea of resets and some of the, there's plenty of wild conspiracy theories out there, but there's plenty of theories that kind of, in the financial markets with what's happening at the moment kind of makes sense. And I look at what the Fed is doing, printing. There is no doubt in my mind, they know they're going to crash the dollar and they know they're going to crash the system. Why are they doing it? That's the question. So are we a part of this financial reset that's coming? Is XRP going to be a cornerstone of this thing? I have no idea, but I can tell you that just like, it's like the government got the nod or created the nod to say, look, we're not going to have to pay this stuff back. So let's just go nuts. Let's print. And we know that when we crash the system, there's an alternate system to go to. So, as I say, there's some pretty outlandish theories out there. And, I certainly do not subscribe to many of them. But I do believe that the way things are going right now, a reset is on the cards. And we've got the lady from the IMF. I forget her name.
Georgie.
Yeah, specifically talking about the reset. I mean, it's like, I think is it Di or is it Sam that kind of says, look, they're telling us about it. They're upfront about it. Nobody's hiding this. It's right in front of our eyes.
Yep.
But most people can't see it because we've gotten used to being protected by our government, not being exposed. And right now, there's a lot of exposure going on. And if there isn't a proper financial reset, in 1996, a hedge fund in Connecticut called Long-Term Credit went bust. So the tune of about 2 or 3 billion, when 2 or 3 billion was a hell of a lot of money. And the banks got together and bailed it out. And then in 2008, the banks went bust. And the governments had to get together and bail them out. And now in 2020, when the governments go bust, or 2021, who bails out the government? Can you see me pointing at you, Scott? You do.
Yeah.
And how's that going to happen?
Yeah, the Fed printing more money. I get it.
Well, when they blow up, you're going to pay them back. Because they're going to turn around to you and they're going to say, oh, you know what? You know that 401k that we were giving you a tax break on? Well, instead of you getting the tax break, we need to take like 10 or 15% of it because the government's in trouble and you need to help.
Yep.
And effectively, you'll still be okay because you just didn't get your tax break that we promised you. But effectively, you're all right. They'll spin that yarn if they need to. So, you know, it's a really, really crazy time right now. I will confess to you, heading back to Wall Street, because I do subscribe to never let a good crisis go to waste. And when there's dislocation in the markets, as there is right now, there's a lot of opportunity.
Huge.
So,
I was going to say that there's got to be a huge opportunity swinging either way, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And look, you've seen those DTCC numbers, right? Of quadrillions of assets that they warehouse, quadrillions of derivatives that they warehouse. You know, this thing, if it comes down, is going to be beyond catastrophic. But I think on that, honestly, I think on that side of things, even, you know, our crazy money printing Fed knows that they cannot allow that to happen. They can crash the dollar, but they cannot crash that derivatives market, or the financial tsunami will wash us all away. XRP won't save us. But, you know, the other area that I want to ask you about, because it really, I think this is another one of those super exciting areas that gets the juices flowing, is tokenization. Man, isn't that so exciting? Real estate, art,
yeah,
you know, stock shares, anything can be tokenized. It's like exciting. You could tokenize, you know, someone's sporting contract. Like you can take a punt on that. You can, like, there's nothing you cannot tokenize.
It's not just all of the money, it's all of everything that you can monetize.
It's fantastic. It's insane. It's nuts. And we are sitting at the cusp looking at this thing when everyone else's head is turned the other way. It's like, you know, it's crazy. And that's part of the problem. You're like, I always have this image of standing on a beautiful beach with the crystal clear waters ahead of me and a palm tree and everything else. And I'm looking out to sea. And I'm saying, isn't this view amazing? Isn't this a fantastic place and a great opportunity and blah, blah, blah. But what I don't realize is that everybody else is standing facing inland and looking at the gray cliff behind me. And they're wondering, what the hell is this guy talking about? I'm just looking at, you know, bare rock. There's nothing exciting about this. And it's all about perspective, right? It's about your perspective. It's about, where are you looking? How open-minded are you? What are you thinking about? I mean, that's the key to this whole thing. If you're open-minded, if you're willing to change your gaze, you can start to see things that, you know, are right in front of your nose, but other people are not seeing. It's a wildly exciting time.
All right, so let me ask you this: from your background in finance and Wall Street, when you look at the usadebtclock.org, right now, for me, I've got a college degree, but it's in radio and TV communications, and it's from Appalachian State. It's not a business degree from Harvard, right?
Harvard, my man.
Harvard. So that's a Southern
yeah, don't try that again.
That uppity New York thing, or Connecticut thing. So, my eyes shifted to XRP Lover was the lower right-hand corner. To me, that looked like more of the big anchor of a real big, huge problem. $153 trillion worth of unfunded liability debt. Now, imagine you and I are in a business together and you're the comptroller. What are you going to tell me as the business owner? How good a shape are we in if we've got $153 trillion worth of unfunded liabilities?
No, we're totally wrecked. Completely. Completely. You know, here's the thing. So we fund a lot of our debt by issuing treasury securities, right? And the biggest holder of those securities is, do you know?
The government, the Fed.
Well, the government of foreign countries. So which foreign country holds the most of our China? And whose nose are we punching right now?
Yeah, and you know what else? They also mine most of the Bitcoin Anthony Pompliano and stoned for days. Ouch.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, regardless of whether you're China or Japan owns a lot of US treasuries and other governments around the world, because of the liquidity, they're super liquid, great for hedging, great for trading, and overall, the US has never defaulted, so they're theoretically safe.
Right.
But the interest you're getting on them against a crashing dollar means that you don't want to hold those things anymore.
Ruh-roh.
So when China decides to take its $1.5 trillion in US debt and sell it, and Japan takes their, I don't know what they've got, 700 billion and sell it because the dollar is going through the floor, one, who's going to buy it? And two, where are we going to raise money in the future, right? So this is a very, very difficult situation. And as I say, the only way I can make sense of it is that there is going to be a complete reset of the financial system globally, because all these other countries have to play along with this. It's the emperor's new clothes and he's naked, right? And we all have to pretend, oh, the emperor's fine. US treasuries are great.
Yeah, I've heard there's 70 countries that have recently reached out to Georgiana at the IMF and said, gimme, 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 I need, like, where's Bob? What about Bob? Remember that movie? I need, gimme, gimme, gimme. I mean, we're in a problem area here. Will Robinson, danger. But are you of the opinion, are you a fan of the pre-allocation theory and some sort of a debt jubilee where we just level the playing field by resetting everything? I know that David Schwartz about 3 weeks ago said that he kind of downplayed and poo-pooed the pre-allocation theory, but he may have just been stonewalling because of that, because to me, it looks like they could use that little old escrow that they've got over there and pass that out to the members of the IMF, set that XRP at $1,000 of $1,000 per XRP, and we're ready to start over again.
I mean, mathematically, it works. And find me something else that mathematically works. There isn't anything. So is that how it's really going to pan out? I mean, obviously I don't know, but I think in the insanity and this, crazy financial world that we find ourselves, that theory isn't as crazy as it would have been if you told someone 3 years ago. I think now that theory, because mathematically it works, holds a lot more weight. Something's going to happen with those SDRs. We keep getting hints from Lagarde, and we keep getting hints from your other lady at the IMF. And the other thing that I know you've touched on with other people that you've talked to, but you can never stress it enough. How, in the name of whatever you believe in, did Brad Garlinghouse get to sit at the head table of all of these meetings? All of them. He's at the head table. You know, the woman that runs the Russian central bank, she wasn't at the head table. She's sitting down in the crowd, and Brad is sitting at the head table. How the hell does that work? If there isn't something going on in the background, something, as people say, the cake is already baked.
Yep.
It's got that feeling to it. And, as I say, there's a lot of really crazy conspiracy theories.
Is this thing on? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that, there's a lot of crazy
tin hat
theories. Yeah. And it's possible to see this reset, SDR, etc., as one of them. There's no question. But when I go and look for what other solutions are genuinely available, I can't find any. I don't know. I can't think of any. And when I look at the mathematics behind that pre-allocation and the SDR, it works. So that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But you know, it's not as crazy as when I first heard someone say it. What do you think?
Well, I think it works too. But what do you feel like, though, that the chances that the dollar is going to continue as the world reserve currency when anybody that's been in this space any amount of time at all has heard of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, Indonesia,
Yeah,
China, South Africa, Southeast Asia, whichever the other S is. I mean, these other countries, and again, you've got a financial background with Wall Street. Do you believe that the other countries in the world love the dollar being the world's reserve currency or not?
Well, there's, like with anything, there's benefits, okay, and there's difficulties. So having the dollar as a world reserve currency, and you know our favorite lady, Judy Shelton, talked about this. It can screw up your internal management systems because you don't fully control your own currency. So, you know, when, whatever percentage it is of dollars are held outside of the US, you give up that percentage of control. So when the Fed raises interest rates, lowers interest rates, wants to beat inflation, doesn't give a damn about inflation, whatever stance they're taking, you're not hands on the wheel the same way, say, that the European Central Bank is with the euro, or the Bank of England is with sterling, or the Bank of Japan is with the yen, because there is such a tiny amount of those currencies held outside of the system. So, it's not a slam dunk that China wants to be the world's reserve currency. I don't think they do. Or that the BRICS nations suddenly want to take that responsibility on. It's a responsibility. Having said that, there are humongous advantages that the US has enjoyed for the past 50 years or whatever it is, 70 years. So, it's kind of a balancing act. I do think, though, that unless we get something to back the dollar, whether it be gold, and it doesn't have to be an ounce of gold. Gold itself can be fractionalized against the dollar, let's face it. So, there's many ways of skinning the proverbial cat, or the cat lovers will be onto us.
Yeah.
But there's many ways of dicing things up. But I do think the dollar is not going to exist in its current form. One, it's absolutely 1,000% going to be digitized. I have no doubt about that. But it has to be backed by something, because otherwise, the printing press just keeps running, and eventually we'll end up like Venezuela, where people go in to rob a bank and they take the furniture instead of the money because it's worth more.
Ouch. The thing, listening to you, the thing that just I'm almost literally speechless. And as a guy that loves to run his mouth, I am literally speechless when I am reviewing the caliber of the brains of the people involved with Ripple and XRP, and even more importantly for that is the people that I'm getting to talk to in this space, you included.
Well, thank you.
When I
didn't want to bring your average down.
Well, no, you haven't. You've exceeded it. And again, there are so many bright people who seem to really think that this is like, ain't no way this is missing, man. Cryptopolis is one of my favorite people. Crypto Area is one of my favorite people.
Fantastic. Yes.
Sam, I'm intimidated. I respect smart. Sam is very bright. And the quality of the people that are in our community is the thing that just, I get so excited about it, because all of you guys are smarter than me, and you guys see it the same thing that I see. That's what gives me so much of a reassurance that I'm in the right place with XRP and Ripple.
I'm going to say something about some of the we both have mentioned we listened to, and that's DAI. there was all the insider stuff and all the other stuff that, FUD and whatever that came upon there. So forgetting all of that,
yeah,
there have been days when I've questioned my investment in XRP big time. And there's been FUD stories have come out and I've kind of bought into them. And I've really thought, oh my God, I really have screwed up. This is terrible. And I've listened to Di, who has been a constant in this area. And he has been upbeat and positive, regardless of what else has gone on. And I've been able to piggyback off of his optimism when I've been feeling really, really down. And regardless of quality of information and who gets it and should you pay for it and should you not pay for it, regardless of all of that stuff, like I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. I can say that because his optimism has kept me, thinking, okay, I'll give it another couple of weeks and we'll see what happens. And that's all it takes because, I think we all have that dark night of the soul in our lives, whether it be investing, whether it be, whatever, relationships, whatever it is, and where you start to question things. And this is no different. And it's no different for super bright people or super silly people. When you're involved in this market, because we are on the outside looking in, like we don't really know what's going on, but we're all picking at bits of information and trying to put it together. You're open to, to swings of euphoria and depression. And I think everyone's open to that. And so, I think he particularly embodies that optimism, for me. And I think also now what you're doing and putting faces to names, because, we all have our little monikers and nobody knows who the hell they are or who's behind it. So I think this is a fantastic thing as well in letting people see, oh my God, this guy, he is bright. He does know what he's talking about. I can kind of look at his research and feel confident or whatever. So, I think this community, and it is a community, is a great thing. It's kept my interest levels up. Whereas if I was standalone investor, maybe I wouldn't be here right now. How do you feel about all that?
I could not agree more. When I think, we make decisions on emotion and then we back them up with logic, right? So we see the FOMO, we see that it went December 2017, 20 cents on the 6th, then January 7th, 2018, 389. I want to get me some of that, right? That's like saying sick 'em in the South. That's like saying sick 'em to a bulldog, right? So that's the emotional part. I want me some of that money, right? But the logic is breaking down the fundamentals of the company. How does a person do that? They take a look at what problem are they solving? And they're, okay, we've got a payment system started in 1972, 6% error rate. It's costly and it's slow. Okay. Is that ripe for being able to be made faster, quicker, more secure, and cheaper? Yes. Okay. So that was so again, the emotion of I'd like to make me some money, but then calm down. You know why? There is a huge difference between enthusiasm and stupidity. So I can get all excited all I want to. At some point, I've got to sit down and look at the fundamentals here and see if they've got a good problem that they're solving, see if the fundamentals make sense, and then see what company they have with them, the people behind them. I'm impressed. I'll be honest with you. I'm impressed with David Schwartz. I got to be honest with you. I'm impressed with Brad Garlinghouse. I'm impressed. The guy is really smart.
Yes.
And I'm impressed with a guy like Greg Kidd, who I think is a billionaire and went to Ripple and asked them if he could have a job. I mean, I just don't see. And then I get more involved in the story and I see how did a little startup in San Francisco get started and meet, just like you said, how do they meet all of these people? How do
Mm-hmm.
they get into these rooms and have these connections? So
Yeah.
when you put it all together, but yes, I have doubt. And yes, I look at videos every day. Crypto Eddie, Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Cage,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Jungle Inc., Bearable Bull, King
Yeah.
Solomon, Crypto Siege is a new friend that I just met that I really, really like. So yes,
XRP Darren,
the XRP
he digs stuff up. I don't know where he gets his stuff from. It's incredible.
Darren, the last couple of videos,
Ah.
I had a friend, yes, my business partner, as a matter of fact, he lives in Staten Island.
Mm-hmm.
He said yesterday, I finally got my cousin. They're gonna listen. Of course, it didn't sound anything like what I just said because he's from New York and he's really New York. So he said it the way it sounds in his language. And he said, I got to have two videos to show what this is all about. So I sent Darren's, not the last video he made,
Mm-hmm.
the one before that, and then I sent a DAI video to show to a brand new person. And
Yeah.
I really do believe if people will sit down and take a look, I really don't think, I think they'll be walking away just with their jaw dropping because everything coming together here is just, it's awe inspiring.
I mean, when we talk about when moon and price and all that stuff, like this is a reworking, a replumbing of the entire financial system. And I can tell you one thing, having worked in finance, um, it's hurry up and wait. Things take forever to change, and especially technology. Notoriously slow at implementing. So the fact that I think Ripple's been firmly in bed with Bank of America since 2016, and people would say, like, geez, that's 4 years. Like, what the hell are they doing? We've had almost no official announcements. Like,
Right.
nothing's going on. This is all BS. Not a bit of it. I mean, it takes years for these things to change. Of course, it's like an oil tanker. Like you start turning a mile before you want to because of just the momentum. Financial markets are the same. There's so much momentum built up that it takes years to change things. So I do think that we are definitely closer to the end mark than we are to the beginning. But it's probably still a year away before we really get to see the results of all this hard work that's been going on in the background. I do think, and I would love to hear what you think, that we are going to get regulation soon. I think this Brian Brooks thing has kind of let the cat out of the bag, and there's no question. Everybody should be sitting red-faced. Every other regulator should be sitting red-faced and embarrassed that they've sat on this for so long. Maybe it's orchestrated. Maybe there's stuff, again, going on in the background we're not a party to. But certainly, a country like the US, it has to be the leader. And it seems like we're really taking one step forward, two steps back in this arena. But I think that's about to change, and it'll be a great relief. And I think it'll be a great eye opener as well to see just how much progress has been going on in the background, waiting for regulations to get in place.
Well, just for the mere fact that we started out using about a year ago, October, and our beautiful, wonderful, incredible Mrs. Maxine Waters saying Bitcom, right? And now we've got Chris Giancarlo pushing the Digital Dollar Act.
Absolutely.
And he is now known as Crypto Dad.
Yeah.
Now we've got Judy Shelton getting ready to get into the Fed. She likes switching everything to a gold standard in a cryptocurrency kind of a way.
Beautifully said.
So, mom, Hester Pierce, and now we've also got the crypto, or the I think crypto comptroller is what they decided that they were going to call Brian Brooks. And he's telling the banks, hey, boys, it's okay for you to custody things. And wow, I don't think that they've all got the technology to be able to do that. Polysign.
I was just about to say, isn't it crazy we haven't even mentioned PolySign yet? Because that's the leverage that the banks really need. Because there's no Wells Fargo ain't going to put in a job lot order for Ledger Nano S's.
No.
So once these companies get somewhere to custody it, Bank of New York, etc., they are gonna lap this thing up, and here we are.
I know. And now the thing that has been the most frustrating for me is that my dad and stepmom inherited a good chunk of change from my grandmother when she passed away. And I'm not going to mention the bank because I don't want to get sued, but they've got a traditional financial advisor. And quite frankly, the guy's done a good job, but I got news for you. A blind monkey could have done a good job the last 20 years, the way that the economy grew. So I'm not that impressed with this guy, right? And now he's not helping them to think about diversifying into gold and silver and to crypto. He's just sitting there looking at whatever he can make a commission off of and putting them into more bonds. A month ago, I about threw up. My dad told me, he said, "Hey, Rob just bought us, another X amount worth of bonds." And I was like, "What? He did what?" So yeah, he made commissions off that bond recommendation that he got my parents to shift some of their money into. But now I got a feeling old Rob is going to be calling Lee and Susan and saying, "Hey, we need to diversify 1 to 5% of your portfolio into this new digital asset class." And because he can make money off of it now. Now,
look, totally.
I'm a salesman, I get it, but I just kind of feel it's been kind of disingenuous for the traditional finance guys not to have done anything to protect their portfolio holders. But again, I also realize as a commission salesperson most of my life, if I can't make money selling it, I ain't going to be selling it neither. So
listen, I can't remember if we said this online or offline, but Wall Street is about one thing and one thing only: money. And if you think it's anything else, you're misguided. And when I worked on Wall Street as a trader, I had tons of friends, but nobody's your friend. And you know it, and they know it. And there's no hard feelings. It's just about the money. You make money, you can do whatever you want. You don't make money, you're out in your ear. And so, these financial advisors, I get it. If they're not getting paid, they're not talking about it, no matter how brilliant the investment is. But, as you say now, at least they are about to get paid and see how they can get paid. So, if that 1 to 5% of the 66 trillion that is in savings at the moment moves into crypto, dude, we're well positioned.
Yes, we are. Very well said. Well played. So, just and think about it though. One of the other things that gets me so excited is that this younger generation, once they start wanting to shift, I think they're going to be more interested in diversifying their portfolio into this new digital asset class than their parents have been. So when the parents pass the money down, I believe we're going to, that's what gets me the most excited is when I think about 1 to 5%, just that 1 to 5% that the traditional financial advisors are encouraging their clients to move into this new digital asset class. And it's so exciting. It's the first time we've had a new asset class in the world since the 1600s. What a spectacular time to be alive, to be able to see that all happen. And then I get so excited about this stuff. I'll be quiet in a second. The idea that we can bring in 3.5 billion people on this planet who are not able to participate in our monetary system because they can't get a bank account, that is a very good thing. I want to help. I am excited about those 3.5 billion people, even if they're only able to contribute with micropayments. Micropayments, XRP lover, if you got billions of them, that adds up. So yes, I am a believer. I am drinking the XRP Ripple Kool-Aid, and I'm unabashedly guilty of that.
You can't unsee the opportunity. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. It's phenomenal. And as I say, I'm grateful every day that I FOMO'd in like a silly ass into XRP, a thing I knew nothing about, something I would never do, and I would never recommend anyone else to do.
Yeah.
And I think you and I, know, and everyone knows, sometimes, what appears to be your worst decision can turn out to be your best.
Yes.
Accidentally, I believe that will turn out to be one of my best decisions, even though I didn't really make a decision. I just, let me in. It's doubling, It's doubling. I'm greedy and I want the money.
Right. I got it. I understand. All right. Now, as we wrap up, a couple of things that I do at the end of every talk is, number one, pre-invite you to come back and a month. And then we take a look at where we were on the 4th of August, where we are on September, and see what kind of progress that we made. So I'd like to offer an invitation for you to come back and visit with us again.
I would love to. It's been a great experience.
Number one, yeah, I think I cannot believe how grateful I am that we met. I mean, we're connecting on so many different levels. It is really, man, I gotta have a crypto brother like you.
Beautiful.
Again, I cannot thank you enough. I'm so excited about being able to meet a new friend, and especially the things that we've got in common are just really good.
They're pretty deep and they're pretty awesome. That's for sure.
And we're almost, we're fairly close to the same age. I'll be 59 in December, so I'll be catching up.
Totally.
One other thing, as soon as I click off, I got one quick thing to talk with you about as soon as I click off. And besides that, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, my brother. It's been awesome.
Brother, what a great thing that I've been able to meet you.
Man. This is
looking forward to our friendship.
Fantastic.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.